All right, y'all. Happy Thursday. Let me know if you guys can hear me and see me okay. Trying to change my Zoom to my actual phone, so we'll see if it lets me do that. But if you're here watching live, make sure you drop hashtag live below. Super excited about this one. A lot of people struggle with content and lead gen. And after, a year and some change in the business, I realized that they go hand in hand. You can generate, warm them up, you can nurture them, so on and so forth, right? A lot of conversations happen because of your content. So I'm going to dive a little bit deeper into that. I'll give everybody a few minutes just to really looks like my phone does not want to connect to my Zoom. So always fun stuff. All right. I'm going to share my screen here in a few minutes just to show the guide so that way you guys can see what I'm really talking about and dive a little bit deeper into why I created this and kind of my mindset when it comes to content and obviously like my thought process and such. So let me bring up the chat here in the group. Awesome. Hey, Nicholas. Hey, Dave. Bring up the chat here in the group. Hey, Rich. Thanks everybody for joining. I don't like to waste time, so I'm going to just jump into it. If you're here watching the replay, make sure you drop hashtag replay below. But I don't want to keep you guys waiting any longer. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and we'll jump right into it. All right. Let me know if you guys can see my screen. Okay. So some likes come in. Let me know in the comments or throw a thumbs up or something that you guys can see it. And if you haven't seen the guide already, make sure you either DM me or drop hashtag content or something, and I'll definitely make sure to send you guys over a copy so you can kind of see the thought process and how we do things and why we do things the way we do, right? So I feel like a lot of people don't put a higher emphasis on content, right? And the content they're actually creating are just more to get hand raisers and eyeballs versus generating more qualified leads into the business, right? Your views are not going to be the same, right? Because now you're going to be generating more leads based around what you're saying, how you resonate with people, what you're talking about, your branding, so on and so forth, right? And that's better, right? Instead of having to sift through thousands and thousands of leads of people who are just not interested in what you have to offer, you're really focusing and laser targeting your content to speak to those people directly, right? And when I refer to like any mini assets or anything, I'm talking more about like short form content, 60-second videos, TikTok, so on and so forth. A lot of the stuff I do primarily is on Facebook, and I repurpose that content on different platforms to just grow my audience and grow my brand. So that's what I've been testing out. TikTok, I have TikTok, YouTube Shorts, Pinterest, and IG. So these little mini assets allow me to generate leads on autopilot, right? And the more I post, the more leverage and the more exposure I'm creating in my business, right? So the more you post, the more consistent you are, the better off you're going to be, because people are going to start binge watching your content, right? And this could be good and bad, right? Maybe you have really terrible content in the beginning, but people like to see you grow. People love to follow along with the journey, right? So don't hide that. Right. I love to follow people, and there's tons of people in this online space that I've started with that are no longer in the space, and there's other people who are just crushing it out there, and I love to see that. We love to see that, and it's because we start at the same time, right? Some people quit, they give up, they're just not in the marketing world anymore, but the ones that stuck with it are out there just crushing it, and I love it. So whether you're creating a video or written form or anything, make sure you're repurposing the content in different platforms, right? Increase that exposure and build your brand. And a lot of people are like, well, how do I translate that written post into a video? read it off, right? Don't sit there and just like record and just be like, one of the most important, like, don't do that, right? Like, I like to pause my videos and mess around with the angles and stuff. And in reality, I'm just reading my long form post into my reels, right? One piece of content turns into one video. That one video gets thrown into different platforms, right? So keep on doing that. Keep building that authority. Keep building that brand every single day, right? You're going to have different views on different platforms, right? On TikTok, if I do any trendy, if I use any music, anything like that, no views. When I get behind the camera and I just talk to my audience, that's where my views start going up, right? And it's still not a ton of views. Again, I'm not going for views. I'm not going to go viral. Like, that's not my intention. I'm really focusing on targeting my audience, generating those qualified leads, and extracting those qualified leads, bringing them over to a messenger conversation, bringing them over to my Facebook group, right? Where I can have an actual conversation with them, kind of see if I can help them. And if I can't, refer them to someone who can, right? Very simple. Like, don't overcomplicate the process, anything like that. And what we do differently, right? We don't post those side hustle videos, right? And I'm sure you've seen them daily, right? If you haven't, then the algorithm loves you because it's just back and forth, the same old ones. And when new people join the space, you'll see the same videos over and over again, right? Which is why a lot of people say that affiliate marketing is oversaturated, right? They say content is oversaturated, right? But when you're creating the same thing as everybody else, of course, right? Of course, it's going to look oversaturated because everyone's doing the same exact thing. But we do the opposite, right? We use the hooks to capture our audience attention and reach thousands of prospects with one video because we're repurposing it in different platforms, which is really cool because, again, different views, different platforms, right? And I just wanted to throw a few hook examples in here so you guys understand what it is, right? So start off your reels, your short form TikToks, your long form content with a hook that's, can't believe I'm sharing the secret because this is really the reason blank, right? So I can't believe I'm sharing the secret because this is the real reason you're struggling with lead generation. And then I can go into content. I can go about not targeting the right audience. I can go about your branding, right? That hook is going to stop people from scrolling. And that's exactly what you want. Again, I've said it 1,000 times. People's attention span is very low, right? So you want to make sure you're taking advantage of that 3 seconds. 3 seconds before they move on to the next video. And you want them to watch your video. And they, obviously you want them to make sure they like, they follow, they comment, whatever it is, right? So is that making sense? Does the hooks make sense to everybody? If I'm talking too fast, let me know too, because I could talk about this stuff all day, every day. It's my jam. So let me know if it's all making sense. And also, like, just these are plug and play, right? So obviously it's red because of that, right? Depending on your niche, depending on what you're talking about, desired income, right? When people talk about making money online, when people talk about losing weight, when people talk about, taking care of their health, anything like that, right? These are very, very much plug and play. But again, it's creating curiosity, right? And we do things a little different because we talk about the good and bad. Right? We talk about our failures. And the reason why we do is because it makes it so much easier to stand out from the crowd because no one wants to talk about the struggle, right? No one wants to talk about, the hustle. No one wants to talk about that stuff. People really just talk about the rainbows and sunshine. It's like, hey, I just made this. Hey, I just made that. Hey, if you want to make 10K, hey, if you want to make 30K, hey, if you want to do this, right? No one talks about the work that needs to get put in to do that. No one talks about the investment. No one talks about that stuff. So when you take that approach and you're honest and you're transparent and you're really just setting yourself apart from the masses, that's when you start generating more qualified leads in the business. And then we speak on common issues, right? Lead generation, closing sales, creating content, right? And we use it as a blanket statement because there can be so much to lead generation, right? It's not just you not generating any leads. It's you not following up with leads. It's you not having conversation with the people that you have in your pipeline, right? It's you expecting people to click the link in your bio and just buy your stuff, right? Not really having interaction, not really making sure it's going to help them, right? You're just wanting them to click the link and buy your stuff. And that's it, right? And your hands are washed from there. But it's so much more, right? And I go into like chunking down here in a little bit, so I won't get too far into that because it's going to come back up again. But we want to insert how our product, our service, our coaching, our mentoring can help them fill in that gap. And you're doing that through your content, curating that curiosity. Like, hey, if you're struggling with lead generation, here's the reason why. Your content is not targeting your right audience. You're trying to talk to everybody, but you're talking to no one. Instead, focus on building a brand and an audience that love you, that know what you're about, and be transparent with them. Show them the good, the bad, the ugly. Right? If you want more information on how to build your brand and build your audience, make sure you drop hashtag leads below and I'll hook you up with the details, or reach out, right? Something like that. It's going to allow you to now have a conversation in the DM and really diagnose the problem, right? Get to the root of the problem and start talking, and not having to mention the name, right? Like, I've never mentioned when I was affiliate, right? When I was focusing more on that, I've never mentioned who I was an affiliate for, because again, I want to create that curiosity. But the more they're talking to me, the more I'm like, hey, yep, that checks that box. Yep, my program can help with that. Yep, my mentor can help with that. Yep, this can be accomplished, right? Checking off all the boxes to make sure they can actually benefit from the product, right? And that is a big one. So this is not in the guide section. If you want access, I'll hit you up after this, Dave. I'll get your email and give you access. I have it in the Google Drive, so that way everybody can take it, download it, and do all that fun stuff too. So I'll definitely hook you up with that after this call here. I'll reach out. So again, like, we talk about the struggle, but when we talk about the struggle, you don't want to put a negative twist to it, right? A lot of people are like, hey, if you're struggling with X, Y, and Z, you're never going to be successful, right? Very negative. Talk about how to overcome that challenge. Talk about how you overcame that challenge, right? When I first started affiliate marketing, it was a lot of cold DMing, like ice cold DMing, talking to everybody. And in reality, I was talking to no one, because I had no idea what my plan was, no idea what my process was. But when I got clear on those two things, now I started to create content that was more geared towards that audience and having more warmer conversations. People who like my posts, people who drop a comment, people who view my story, people who engage in, any type of content, right? Anybody who's messaged me, because you get a lot of people who will message you and be like, hey, I actually resonated with that. Can you tell me more? Right. And that's what we want to see, right? None of like the ice cold DMing, trying to talk to everybody and really just not get anywhere with these conversations, right? Really understand how we can help them instead of just trying to push a product on them, push a service on them, see if it's actually going to benefit them. And your content is going to do a lot of that heavy lifting for you if you do it the right way. Right. So that's what this guide is really for, is to really just show you and open your eyes to how content can really help you and stop people in their tracks, because they're going to resonate with that piece of content, because they're going to want to know more about what you're doing, because they like and love what you're doing, even if they're just watching from the outside, right? There's tons of people out there watching. There's tons of eyeballs. Now it's just really about extracting them, writing that one piece of content and finding that one soft point where they're either struggling with, or maybe they don't even know they're struggling, right? But you help them realize that that's where it's at. That's how you get someone from content to lead to client, right? Very simple. We keep things very, very simple. There's a lot of complicated stuff out there, but the way we do things is very simple, if you haven't noticed already, right? And then it's important to like how you overcome the challenge and how it allowed you to achieve your goal, right? How you did X, how you achieved your goal because you took action, right? Again, very simple. And this will allow you to really just generate more qualified leads and speak and like spark more conversations, more offers, more sales, right? Very simple. And we do fun ninja stuff behind the scenes, right? Like, we pre-sell them on our plan, our process, and provide a solution. So they come to us knowing that we can help them achieve their goal, because we're talking about it in our content, because we have value posts, because we have testimonials, because we have all these things in place to really help people overcome that objection with our content, right? We're not handling objections or anything like that. It's like, hey, I have this amazing thing. If you're interested, let me know. I'll send you the deets. No hardcore sales, none of that crazy tactics. Been there, done that, and I don't really like it, right? More of a nonchalant approach and more detaching from the sale. And just some things to keep in mind, right? And this kind of goes full circle here. It's moving past the surface level questions and start digging deeper, right? Why are they struggling? And people are going to say, I'm not generating enough leads, but are they doing follow-up? Are they doing outreach? Are they pulling buyers from their audience, right? Because people say, hey, I've been doing this Facebook stuff for 30 days. I have no leads. It's a lie, like 100%. Are you doing follow-up? Are you reaching out? What are your conversations looking like? What's your content looking like? And how are you resonating with your audience? What's your brand look like? And typically when you ask those type of questions, they have no idea. And that's where the disconnect is, right? So instead, and this is where you can insert your plan, your service, your product, whatever you do, right? Create content that expresses what you do and how you do things differently from everyone else, right? And I talk about this stuff because this is what I do. If you're cold DMing, if you're using Zoom calls, you're using sales calls, I've done that, been there, done that. It's just not an approach I want to take anymore. Obviously, with the twins, I just don't have that much time to be doing this stuff, especially during the day, right? So talk about the stuff that they don't want to do. Like a lot of people don't want to close high ticket sales. A lot of people don't want to be on Zoom calls. A lot of people don't want to be sending cold DMs, right? They're not comfortable with that, right? So get clear, like what you do differently, how you do things, and create content. Because people that are doing that stuff and don't want to do it anymore, again, are going to resonate with you, right? Because they're going to want to know what you're doing. How are you closing sales using a Google Doc? How are you generating more conversation through your content? Boom, right? Again, people love that stuff. People love to see what other people are doing. And if they don't like it, they're either going to make a change or they're going to sit in their suck a little bit longer until they're ready to make a change, right? But when they're sitting in their suck, you want to make sure you're creating that content. So that way, that content is going to speak directly to them. They're going to be pre-sold on the plan, on the process, and on the pricing, right? And talk about the pricing, right? Hey, there's an investment involved. If you're not willing to invest, this is not for you, right? And I'll say that in all of my content because I don't want to attract those freebie seekers. I don't want to attract those people that are just going to waste my time, right? I'm not trying to do that. So when I talk about investing, I'm taking out those freebie seekers, right? One or two will slip through the cracks, but they're very easy to follow, right? You know who the freebie seekers are in your audience. And if you don't, that's good. You probably don't even have any. And that's what the ultimate goal is, right? And again, these mini assets that I create, that my clients create, it's really just to get more eyes on my page. And then I funnel them into my Facebook group, right? And I use different forms of content. And I'm going to go into the different forms of content that I use within my Facebook group to really help seal the deal. Value posts, right? And I love these because they can be lessons, educational posts, takeaways, belief shifting. These posts allow you to resonate with your audience and give them more context on your process, right? Because a 60-second video is really not that long, right? To get someone to jump into your mentorship, to get someone to jump into your high ticket product, to get someone to jump into your low ticket product or your recurring income, right? 60 seconds is not enough, right? And it can be enough for some people, right? They just see your stuff and it resonates with you, but 9 times out of 10, it's going to take a little bit more to warm up that audience, right? Results, right? And results can be monetary and non-monetary, right? Share your wins, no matter how small, because someone who's looking to achieve their first commission after you just made your first, they're going to come to you because they're like, how'd you do it? How'd you make that first commission, right? Someone who's looking to make 10K, they're going to come to you right after you hit that 10K mark. Hey, how'd you do it? Share some details, right? All you're doing is creating more relationships within your business by creating these posts. Lives, right? I love Facebook lives, right? TikTok, I'm terrified to go on there. Don't ask me why. I went into this before. It's a mindset thing. But I will jump on the TikTok train soon. It's a goal of mine. But these lives I've done on my profile and I've done on my private community. The ones on my profile, they don't go into detail on like everything that we do here. And there's a reason for that. And I'll get to that later on. But I use my community to really provide a massive amount of value and my expertise, right? Some people might not agree with the way I do things, and that's 100% okay. They're not seeing it on my profile. They're seeing it in my group. And I make sure that the people in this group are people that I want in here, right? This is my group. Not everyone gets put into this group, right? And I want it to stay small. I don't want hundreds of thousands of people in this group, because that's not what this group is for, right? This is where I want to make sure that I'm showing up for the lives, I'm answering questions, and I'm here for the people who are here watching me, right? For you guys here watching me. So that's what I use lives for. And also to extract buyers from my group, right? And this could be the people who are showing up consistently. This could be for the person that resonates with this, like, hey, content is my biggest struggle. We have All Things Content, $15 a month, really goes into detail about content. We have Rachel in there, who is our TikTok. She showed me how to reach 1,000 followers on TikTok, and pretty fast too. John, who does more of the story and IG selling, so he's awesome on that front too. So there's different people in that world that can really just help you a lot more with your content, right? And everything we do gets put into any type of business, right? Affiliate marketing, internet marketing, fitness, whatever it is, right? It can be, it's all plug and play, like you see in the examples on the top there. Offer posts, right? This can be something like, let's say your product is offering like a small promotion, or there's a deal going on, there's extra bonuses, so on and so forth. These offer posts are really just going to get minimum engagement, right? But the quality of the leads of the people engaging in those posts are going to be much hotter, right? And don't forget to use reels and stories for these things too. I was able to close a high ticket sale from a reel, right? But this person's been following me for a very, very long time. So when I put that call to action, she was ready to jump in, right? That one thing is what she needed, right? That lifetime coaching offer is that one thing she needed to tip her over to the next stage, right? So don't be afraid to use every form of content when it comes to these offer posts. Hard call to actions. Obviously, this guide is a hard call to action, right? I put it on my profile, and I put it on in my group, right? And this is me. I created this guide to really help people create content. But what this does is it's great to get a lot of people into the group, right? Those people who are in my world, who are watching, those followers, right? And who are ready to like kind of see what I'm about, right? So I can take that person from my profile and bring them over to my group, right? Where it's more intimate. They're able to take in a lot more content and really just see how I teach and how we do things around here, right? And then your profile, right? Duh. It's the face to your Facebook, right? The face to your brand. And here on my Facebook, I really share a lot more like lifestyle posts, offers, content, and stuff like that. It's really just posted in my group. I don't put too many offers. I've tried it before. I've tested it last month, putting offers out on my profile, but in the group, it's a lot more targeted, right? And my profile is just collecting everybody. So it didn't do too well on the profile side, but in the group side, it did very well. And again, like for my profile, I want to talk about what I'm doing in my group, right? Because I want people to have FOMO, right? That fear of missing out, right? Like this exclusivity that they're not a part of, right? And funnel more people into my world, right? Funnel more people into this group. And my story, right? And stories, I started using this way more with John, but it's a catch-all, right? Like this story reaches out to like people, right? Facebook will put your story out. It's great to like create polls, right? See if people are interested in what you have to offer, showcase your lifestyle, right? Posting food. I post a lot of pictures of the babies there, results, right? So if I like make a commission or anything like that, I'm posting that in my story. You can post links in your story. So like if you wanted to link off, like I'll link off to my group, or I'll link off to All Things Content. All Things Facebook, I'm very picky about who's in there. So I definitely like to have a conversation before they jump into, just to make sure it's right for them. And I love the vibe we have going with All Things Facebook, and I definitely don't want to ruin that. And then kind of put parts of my live streams in there. And these little snippets of like, hey, this is what we have going on. This is something you can be a part of. Let me know down below, and I'll hook you up with the details, right? And again, it's just bringing more people into my world, funneling them over into my Facebook group. And last but not least, right, my Facebook group, right? And I put a high emphasis in my group because I really want, and obviously you guys know this, I like to educate my audience on what I do and how we do it, right? We're able to extract buyers through our live streams and exclusive offers, because offers I put in the group are different than the offers I put out on my profile. And it's also a great place to host like testimonials, any client wins, show validation, success stories, right? Again, I'm not looking to grow this group to 10,000 people. It's not where I see that going. I definitely wanted to keep it more intimate and people who are actually taking in the content, right? Not just letting anybody into this group, because I want those people looking from the outside, like, hey, what's Kassey doing? Like, what does she have going on in this group that I'm not a part of, and why am I not a part of, right? Creating that FOMO, right? That fear of missing out, right? And a lot of people get it wrong, right? When it comes to content, right? They fail to target the right people. But once you get clear on the plan and the process, your content should revolve all around that, right? We created All Things Facebook to really show you how to start, grow, and activate your passive income machine, right? That was the very clear, very straight to the point. Now, the plan and the process is really focused on taking action, creating content like the ones we just went over, using every single part of Facebook to grow that business, right? And then we have lifetime coaching on top of that, right? Because I know when I first started, I could not wait to stop watching affiliate marketing videos. Like, I was literally like overwhelmed watching video after video. So we take a more action-driven approach, right? And I talk about that in my content, because the plan is to start, grow, and activate the passive income machine. And the process is taking action, right? Showing up every single day, being consistent, showing up to the coaching calls, having conversations, networking, right? And that is what we talk about in the content, right? Because ultimately that's where those people are going to land, right? Again, make sure if I'm talking too fast or this is not making sense, you let me know in the comments, and I'll make sure I'll answer your questions or anything like that that you guys might have around content and this side of things too. Don't be afraid, like, to show who you are, like, share your story, the good, the bad, the ugly, right? I invested over $8,000 into courses that just were not good. And then I invested another $5,000 in a mentor, and then $700 into a sales training, and then $15,000, excuse me, into a 7-figure mentor, right? So always investing, right? And those investments, those like hands-on driven approach is what's helped me get to where I'm at. If I didn't have that, I definitely would have failed, right? If I just kept buying course after course, I wouldn't be where I'm at, because I was just buying course after course, but I had no guidance, had no support. And I really just needed someone to be like, sit down and focus on X, Y, and Z. Stop doing this and focus on that, right? That's going to drive sales. That's going to drive more traffic, so on and so forth, right? I needed that person because video after video was just not it for me, right? And last but not least, again, the goal is not to generate tons of views. It's not to go viral. It's really to start laser targeting your leads through your content, right? And these different forms of content are going to allow you to do that, and play around with it. Some people might like to view your story a lot more than people might like to view your profile, right? People might like your short form better than they like your long form. Mess around and see what your audience likes, right? And again, if you don't have a Facebook group, I always recommend you create one. It's a little bit more intimate. You can be more free, and you can really just hand select the people who are going to be in this group, right? So that's what the guide is. If you don't have access yet, make sure you drop hashtag content below. I'll get you access, or feel free to DM me. All I need is your email so I can share it with you. It's hosted inside of a Google Drive, so you'll have access to take that, download it, and so on and so forth. So again, if you have any questions, if you're watching the replay, feel free to drop any questions below. I'm here to help you guys out in your journey. And if you're still having trouble with content, you want more of these hooks. So far we have 750 when you join. Then I think January we did 50, February we did 75, and March we did 100 new hooks, right? So there's a good amount of hooks in there, almost 1,000 if I can math right, almost 1,000 hooks that you can use, plug and play into your content. And that's $15 a month. And we also meet up once a month and we have a call all about content. And Rachel's in there, TikTok expertise, John, who is YouTube and IG, and obviously me, all about Facebook. And if you want to know a little bit about what we do behind the scenes too, in our coaching, our lifetime coaching offer, make sure you drop hashtag ATF below, and I'll reach out, see if you'd be a good fit. And if you're not, definitely find somebody who can help you out a lot more. If there's no questions or anything, I'm gonna go ahead and hop off. I won't keep you guys any longer. I have a very early flight to Florida tomorrow for my drill weekend. I'll be up at 4 o'clock in the morning. My flight leaves at 6. So always good times to go down to Florida, catch up on my military stuff. So again, if you're watching the replay, I'm just one DM away. So don't hesitate to reach out. Been in this world for a little bit, almost 2 years, and it's been a journey, but it's been worth it. All right, yeah. Have a great night.